How's it going, everybody? Corporate mower repair. We've got in for repair today an FS90R outstanding weed eater. This one is time for a carburetor. So I'm going to show you how to change the carburetor, how to do the fuel lines, fuel filter, all that good stuff. I've already taken apart some of this to make it go by quicker. You're going to need just a couple tools. You're going to need a make sure this is T25 Torx, and then a T20 Torx, and then you're going to need a 8mm socket, and you'll pretty much have all you need. So T25, loosen that, then pull your air filter out of there. All right, and then this is where your two 8mm nuts are going to be. You pull those out, and then when you go to pull this, it's going to be stuck a little bit. Put you a flathead screwdriver in there, prise on it a little bit, and then you're going to have this line connected to it. Just pull it off on this side. This is just a breather for your gas tank. Pull that off. All right, and then your T20 is going to be for this. So you don't have to take this all the way out if you don't want to. Just loosen it, pull it out of the way. And then you've got two fuel lines to take off. This one will be here, and then this one is going to be on that pipe right there. So you'll just pull those two off, and then you're going to have your throttle cable right there. This is kind of hard to do one-handed, but pull your throttle up like that. And then, you know what, let me move this cover out of the way so you can see better. All right, this will make it where you can see it better. You'll have one more T20 screw down there, and then you can just take that completely off. And if you want to get all of this out of your way, you don't have to take these all the way out, but loosen this T25 and that T25, and then you'll have a T25 here. Take it all the way out, and then take this one all the way out and this one all the way out, and then you can pull your cover completely off. I'm going to do it. You don't have to do that, but I'm going to do it so you can see better. So on your throttle linkage here, pull that up, and then your cable will push down out of there. And it's going to be hard for me to do this one-handed. And then just push your cable down, and it'll come out of there. And then we're ready to slide our carburetor off. Just put you a flathead there behind it. Don't go crazy with it, but just pry it a little bit, and that'll slip off. What holds it up is this pipe down here. So I'm going to push that off a little bit, and then it'll slide off. All right, so if yours was stuck like mine was, it's this pipe, it's this hose here that sticks onto this pipe that hangs it up, but you can put you a flathead in there and just wiggle it a little bit. Just break the seal there, and then your whole carburetor will slide on off. The next thing you want to do is get you a flathead under this tab, and don't pry down real hard because you don't want to break that. Just twist your screwdriver back and forth this way to break that seal out of there, and then you're going to pull this whole thing out. All right, and so this is our whole fuel line unit here. We're going to replace this line and these two lines. Your kit is going to come with this right here, and this is plenty. It's all you need. So I'm going to replace this line and put the filter on it, and then do these here. All right, got all this fuel line replaced. Keep in mind, WD-40 is going to be a good friend to you during this, so use it liberally. And then we're just going to place that back down in there. Make sure that your fuel filter is going to that corner of the tank. And then all you want to do is push this back down in there. If you have too hard of a time getting it back in, what you may have to do is take these fuel lines back off, and then get you a socket that's about this diameter and use that to push it down in there. Just don't go crazy with it, putting a flathead on it, hitting it with a hammer. Don't do all that. So let me get that pushed back in, and then we'll continue. All right, got it installed. Next step, we're going to put our new intake gasket on there. If your intake gasket is still on this side, mine come off on the carburetor, and it's sort of tore. But if yours is still there, leave it there, and then put this one on top of it. All right. Next, we want to install our carburetor here. Sorry, I was getting a phone call on my phone there. All right, just slide those in. What's holding this up here? There we go. All right, and then you want to make sure, as you're sliding it up, you want to make sure that this pipe is lining up with that hose. So just push it down a tad, like that. And there you go. All right, now we're ready to do our fuel line. And again, I'm going to get my WD-40, spray some on here and here. This one goes onto that pipe, and this one here is going to go on there. So let me get that hooked up. Be right back. All right, so we got our fuel lines installed. You just want to make sure that none of them are kinked. And keep in mind this one here, don't go crazy with it, but you can move this one if you need to. It'll rotate in that housing. Like I said, just don't go crazy with it. So if you can't seem to get the kink out of this line, just rotate it some and you'll be fine. So the next thing I want to do is replace this vent line that goes from your breather to that pipe right there. So let me replace that and then we'll move on. All right, I got this replaced. Now I'm going to hook my fuel line back up. Keep in mind that this end of the fuel line has to go into this pocket. So make sure it goes in that pocket and then make sure it stays in this track right here all the way down. All right, so it needs to look like that. And then to hook your fuel line back up, just take your finger, push that up, and then it's going to go down in the hole like that. And it ought to look just like this. All right, if you're having an issue with not getting full throttle, like if it's not, like if yours is stopping like right here or something, that ain't no big deal. You can adjust it right here, tighten that, and it'll rotate this assembly this way, and it'll take that extra slack out of your throttle cable. All right, so I'm gonna put my breather back on, and then we're ready to put some fuel in it and try it out. All right, I hope that helped. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. I hope you have a blessed day.